All right. I think that we are good now,
I think
Mac.
it's back.
I
Yes.
think we're back. I think we're back. Although, sometimes there are technical difficulties. We'll wait for all of the boys
Yeah,
to
that looks
to
great.
stream in. Yeah,
Yeah.
that looks fantastic, Seti. Great stuff. Great stuff. We'll wait for everyone to slowly trickle in before we, get into the bits and bobs of this week's podcast. And
Before
before
we
you do,
say welcome back.
yeah, before we say welcome back, right? We're gonna have to text the group chat. Let's see here. We are back on. That's lovely, isn't it?
But as you can
Um,
see, trying something new
yeah, we
with
are.
the whole setup. But
Yeah, we are. Exactly. We obviously are going to be away from each other starting next year. So we're kind of getting a little head start on how this is going to work and how it's going to go. If you can imagine live streaming from, I don't know, from a call, like a Zoom call or a Skype call is very difficult. So we've had to sort of figure that out. Thank you, boys. Paul's back. Eli's back.
there we
Phenomenal.
go.
We love to
So
see
I,
it.
we can start
Yeah,
here
we can start
with
here.
welcome back to the COG Weekly podcast, season 3, episode 18.
Lovely. There it is.
There it is. There it
We are
is.
back after a 2-week long, 1 week,
1 week
away
off.
break,
Yeah.
due to COVID circumstances. Hopefully you are feeling better, and you didn't get hit too hard by the cove. Sometimes it can come out of nowhere on you.
Yeah.
I know you said some of the symptoms were a bit strange, but yeah, Paul said all grown up going to college. Paul, we're entering those days of our lives. The
Yeah.
the little birdies have to spread their wings and fly at some point. They can't just be staying at home all the time. Um,
But
but
Leo,
yeah.
what sweatshirt are you wearing there?
Oh, I know. Great that you asked, because
Yeah.
this is actually our Class on Grass Weekly merch, and COG Weekly, should I say. And Mac is sporting the
Yeah.
Class on Grass merch itself. So we've got two different lines of the same brand going right now. If you want some of your own, go to classongrassmedia.com. Visit that website. It's a great place. I've heard great things about it.
I've heard great things as
Yeah.
well. My
And
order came really quickly.
it did
Quality
though. Did,
is
did you notice that? It did come
it
really
did. It
quick.
was like a week for
Solid
me.
week. And before, we obviously talked to supplier about, supply chain stuff and how to improve all of that. But before, this new drop came out, it was 4 weeks at best. So we've really cut down on time there. So yeah,
Yeah.
guys, if you want any apparel, shirts, sweatshirts, long sleeve shirts, anything you like, all the different colors, that is sporting your favorite podcast, whether that's us or any of the other podcasts on the COG Weekly or on the Class on Grass podcast network. Um, or if you just want the Class on Grass official merchandise, go to the website classongrassmedia.com, and yeah, you'll be treated to some great apparel. Eli said his came in only like 3 to 4 days. That's fantastic. That is
Exactly.
so good.
That's
So
great.
good. Um, did you notice I got the boom arm out? It looks
I
pretty
did.
professional. It does. It looks
That's
really good.
very professional.
Yeah, see, I can like
I
move.
personally don't have that. So
We're working on it. More merch
yeah.
sales, and then you get the boom arm too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it just
it's it
comes with the
it
job.
it does. It comes with the job. Well, getting right into it, we have decided to switch up the Hassani of the week. We used to obviously choose a player before the podcast and give this prestigious award, the Hassani of the Week award, to the player who we felt like was the best player in the entirety of Europe throughout the week. And that was a good award, got recognition from the man himself, Sonny Dotson and whatnot. But we've switched it up because we feel like there is a more entertaining way that we can do this. It's more
Yeah.
interactive. It involves the chat, and overall, I think it'll give a new perspective to the podcast that we haven't had before. So, without further ado, let's bring in the Hassani of the Week slide. And currently, we have 3 contenders for the Hassani of the
Three
Week.
options.
3 beautiful, beautiful options. Those options are Josh Sargent, as you can see on screen, Josh Sargent, Mo Salah, and Weston McKennie. So these are the 3 players that we have picked. Now, interacting with the chat and ourselves, obviously, we're going to debate this. We're going to see who deserves the prestigious Hassani of the Week. So,
Yes.
beginning with the man on the left, the ginger, the beast for Norwich, so many things you could say about him. The American Machine. I don't know. Any other nicknames? um, But yeah,
A Premier League striker who's finally scored, which,
that is also very true. That's not one that I think Josh would maybe want to his name, but I don't know.
mean,
Do you think he likes them?
so he's got more goals than probably many strikers in the league now. 2 goals?
Yeah, I mean, if you're including the subs,
Yeah, including
yes,
all strikers
he
on
is better
both
than average in the
rosters.
Premier League as a
He's got to be
striker.
top half at this point.
Totally, he totally has to be top.
Which is
He is a
great.
starter. He's a starting Premier League striker. Paul
Yeah,
said Sargent the Ginger Pele. I mean, I think that's another one that
that's
I don't
very
know if
suitable.
Sargent would necessarily call himself the Ginger Pele, but I think that we can definitely. I don't know if I think he's a bit humble, so I think he would maybe work his way around using that
Yeah.
name. But jokes aside, because we skipped last episode, we had to include Sargent's beautiful performance against Watford. 2 goals, including a scorpion kick, which was quite unconventional even for scorpions.
Quite unconventional.
It really was, but I mean, he had a great performance. I don't know what you thought about it.
Yeah, I mean, I remember texting you. I was like, "Oh my God, Josh Sargent finally scored," and it was a bar down scorpion kick. Just no clue how he moved his legs like that. And then, what was it? Maybe 5 minutes later,
Yeah.
he scores another. And with a player, we all love Josh, but we knew the Premier League was going to be a big step for him, and he really hadn't gotten off the mark until against Watford, which inevitably actually made Ranieri get fired. So Watford are now on their, third manager of the season?
Yes, it's not a Watford season if you don't have a rotation of managers, like a roulette wheel. I
At
mean,
least 3.
at minimum 3 managers
Yeah.
per season. That's the bare minimum as a Watford fan, you know. They like to see that rotation, getting the different styles of football coming into the club, you know. They get that
Yeah.
whole package, you know, some possession, some long ball, some counterattack. They get it all. It's not like being a Brighton fan where you know what you're going to get, you know. It's not like having GP consistently back in your squad.
Just a little bit of surprise in the
Oh,
in
there
the
is.
season.
It might not tailor to the best results, you know. You could say that they could be doing better right now, but I respect the hustle. I do. I respect the constant need for a new manager.
Yeah.
Remember when I used to play I think it was like FIFA 17 or FIFA 18, and this was like prime FIFA when we would play.
Yeah.
And like every time one of my players would have a bad game, I'd just be like, "You're fired," and I'd get him out of my team.
Yeah.
I mean, those are the glory days.
It's a
You know,
nice
you have
quick
that.
sell.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Quick sell. You know, got to get them out, bring a new player in, see how it does. You know, constant fluid squad. It means everyone's fighting for their spot. Paul said Sargent did well recently, but I heard Pele banged in another hat trick in his basement yesterday. I would be surprised if Pele was really moving very nimbly at this age. I would be very shocked. I don't.
I
I don't
think
really.
that's been to when was it Ronaldo? Someone broke his scoring record, and then he said, "Oh
Yeah.
wait, I actually scored another a
No, it
hundred
was
something goals."
no, it
Yeah,
was definitely. I think he went. It was like Ronaldo broke his record at 800, and then I
yeah,
swear he went to like 3,000
yeah.
immediately
He was like
after that.
2,000,
I'm like,
something
what on
crazy.
earth?
He's like,
How
"Oh, if we're
has
talking all career, then." But
like what were you talking before? Were you talking just
yeah,
like just league games, no cup game, like I don't know, whatever? But
whatever.
yeah,
But the
Pele,
second, yes.
second
So
player.
Ginger Pele,
We have
and then
yeah, it's Ginger Pele. We
so
have
that's one option.
the
Second
middleman,
is Mo Salah, needs no introduction.
but we
Um,
can introduce him anyway.
it is it is Mo Salah. Um, and the captain of my favorite team in the AFCON tournament. Your team did get knocked out,
I've
unfortunately.
switched. I've switched my team.
Well, you can't. That's not really how it works. You did wear the jersey, and so I mean,
I was forced to
anyway.
wear it.
Uh,
Yeah.
really? Okay.
Yeah, definitely,
Anyway, yeah.
definitely.
So Egypt are into the semifinals, I believe, of AFCON. And they beat Morocco 2-1, where they were down a goal, and then Mo Salah scored and assisted to win the game. And the game before that, he scored the winning penalty to beat Ivory Coast 5-4 on penalties. So really a huge week, week and a half for Mo and his team, really carrying Egypt as we all hoped he would. And I mean, I hope they go all the way. But they do play Cameroon, which apparently is your new favorite team.
Cameroon, they're so good, dude. They're so good. I wish we could have a Hassani three-peat, but it's just not possible.
Really. I mean, they
I
did
was
make
really
it,
hoping.
but he didn't. I did see the highlights of that game.
It can be scored both goals.
Yeah, and Vincent Abubakar did have many chances to score. Yeah. So
Vinny, he probably saw our post because I tagged him in the post that was like, I was like, at Vincent Abubakar, you going for a three-peat question mark? He definitely saw that and then got kind of nervous, you know?
Yeah, the pressure was on once he saw the episode come out.
He was like, oh, shit, now I got to get the three-peat. That's never been done before. Yeah. Actually, the two-peat, the repeat, never was done before either, but constantly breaking new records, that man. But yeah, I am definitely rooting for Cameroon all the way. Although I feel for Liverpool right now as they will be missing out on Mo and Sadio for another game week because they have advanced. And the reason for that is because even if they lose in the semis, there's a third place game. So.
Oh, yeah.
So like they have to stay. So.
Well, Sadio's back, no? No,
what do you mean?
Wait, are they still in it?
They're still in it. Mm-hmm. Had Senegal, Cameroon, Egypt, and let me check the other one. I mean, who do you think's gonna win it?
I mean, Egypt, obviously.
I disagree. Just completely disagree.
Really?
Trying to bring up the table.
Oh, Senegal, Burkina Faso, Cameroon, Egypt.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
So that's Mo.
Yeah, that's Mo for you guys for the possible Hassani. Chat, you gotta be thinking on this one. Depending on who you want. The third player is a Ballon d'Or contender, most definitely. He sports the number 8 for the USMNT. Mm-hmm. He can't drink espresso. If you've seen the All or Nothing documentary, you would understand. And Eli just said Joe Sala is the Hassani of the week. I don't know who Joe Sala is, Eli. I'm not sure about this. But yeah, Weston McKennie is the one who is our third option. He has been fantastic. Although the USMNT lost 2-0 to Canada, it was a bit of a shaky one. Canada looked a lot better, and we can talk about that after this.
Yeah, we should.
But just talking about Weston's performances, he was arguably our best player in the Canada game. And in the game before that, when we played El Salvador and we beat them 1-0, in my opinion, some people have argued Anthony Robinson was the best player because he scored the goal. But in my opinion, Weston was the best player on the field the whole game. So you have to give it to him.
I agree. And I mean, one word for those two performances would be energy. Like, dude, no other player was running. I swear, against Canada especially, I saw him in the upper left part of our attacking half more than he was in the middle as a midfielder, which was his actual position. And that just shows he's running everywhere to get the ball, win the ball back, be involved, unlike any other player on our team, especially in that Canada game when things were looking really rough and we couldn't get things going. He was always kind of that live wire that really positive, I'd say.
Yeah. Overall, like you said, just energy, really strong on the ball. It seemed like he was just more fit and stronger and more, he wanted it more. He had more hunger than the players that he was matched up against in that midfield. He would get to the balls first. He would win the 50-50s. When players would try to take the ball from him, he would just outmuscle them. You know what I mean? So McKennie, absolutely fantastic with his two performances in the international break. And recently, I think maybe a week and a half ago, when there was speculation of him possibly leaving Juventus, the board at Juventus said that he's irreplaceable and they're not going to let him go.
Yeah.
So, some great speculation surrounding Weston McKennie in terms of USMNT fans right now. And although Paul does think that this selection is slightly biased because there's 2 American players, I would say that it is accurate in my opinion. I mean, international break's hard. You gotta pick the players that played the best in the situations that they were dealt with. And I think McKennie deserves that. And then Salas at AFCON did fantastic. And then you're looking back a week and you find Josh Sargent scoring a scorpion kick. I don't think we're going to have that very often.
No.
So, yeah, definitely justified. Chat, you can take your votes over the next 30 seconds. Mac, what are you thinking out of these 3?
So my thought process here, Hassani of the week is a player to me that has an outstanding week, both, relative to other players, but also relative to himself. And
I see where this is going.
So Salah, it seems like he scores 2 assists every 2 games, every season. He's just scoring. That's his average, is 2 goals a game, couple assists in there. So that's nothing new. But
I'm just
Josh
looking in the
Sargent.
chat right now, and Paul has joined twice and has voted twice.
Yeah, I see as well. But when you look at Josh Sargent, when's the last time he scored a brace?
Has he? Has
I would
he
say
ever?
never, maybe. In that case, my vote is going to Josh, as it's very good week for him in terms of Premier League football. So he has my vote. What about you?
Well, I was gonna say Big Wes, but I'm outnumbered by 2 Pauls and you. So I'm gonna lay it down here and I'm gonna say it goes to Josh. I think they're very close. Like you said, Salah does it week in, week out. And Joshy boy, I mean, great for him. Hopefully he can continue it. And I think as of right now, it goes to Ginger Pele. Unless we get a huge raid in the chat and everyone starts spamming Weston.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure that's going to happen.
Salah will have his opportunity again.
Salah's going to eventually get it by the end of the season. It's
Most
almost
definitely.
inevitable.
Yeah. That's true.
Eli has made a great point in the chat. He said huge week for Sutton as he's gotten Sargent in his FPL team. That's fantastic. Suddy, if you're hearing this, well, actually, I'm assuming Suddy is hearing this because he's producing the episode right now. But Suddy, that's great from you. I mean, great pick at the beginning of the season, just seeing this brace coming from a mile away.
I need to see the statistic on how many FPL owners had Josh Sargent.
Do you want me to look it up right now?
I mean, I don't know if you'll find that, but
I totally can. I got this within 20 seconds.
What's your guess? I'm guessing 5% of all FPL.
Nah, way less, bro. There's no chance. Who in the right mind is taking
think of how many
Josh
teams there are.
Still. I mean, I think maybe in the draft it'll be more because people are required to take people.
Think back to how many people triple captain a random player that scores a hat trick, Eli says 7%. Yeah.
Is that what it is, Eli?
I don't know. But I think that's his guess, but
okay.
I think it's higher than you expect.
There's no percentage for the draft. Do you want me to find one for actual fantasy?
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
Because that shows they picked Josh to be in their team.
Yeah, okay, let me look him up right here. Sargent. What was your guess?
5%.
Holy crap.
Eli's was 7. Who is it? What is it?
0.4%.
Oh my God.
That's so tough.
See, I thought it was going to be a lot higher just because, U.S. player, I don't know.
Yeah.
Striker.
Neil's at 6.7% for any, comparison.
Wow, Neil's only 6?
Yeah. Well, everyone has, Antonio, Salah, or, Ronaldo.
But even the bench players, that go for 4.
You would think Josh is kind of a popular bench decision. He might have been more popular at the beginning of the season.
That's true.
Being honest, you know what I mean?
Maybe the lack of goals kind of deterred the crowd there. Maybe.
I feel like that's a possibility.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we've decided, unless you have any objections, but I assume you won't.
Well, that
Ginger
was my
Pele.
vote. So
Yeah. Ginger Pele. Congratulations.
congratulations.
I'll
Yes.
post on the Instagram after this and I'll tag him and I'll say congrats so he can see that, get the recognition he really deserves.
Yeah.
Moving on past this beautiful Hassani of the week that we've created, this Hassani choice. We have deadline day, which is what this episode is kind of all about. There is a lot of stuff that has gone on over the past 31 days since the transfer window has opened on January 1st. Fabrizio has probably stayed busy, and I assume he is enjoying his time as it is coming to an end with all of these transfers. But yeah, getting right into it, first one is Dele Alli.
Well, I mean, Everton have done very well on deadline day. With Dele Alli for I believe, permanent away from Tottenham finally. The situation with him, it kind of started, I don't know, end of Pochettino, start of Jose reign, when he was like, he's too lazy, and he just really fell off. He was getting some minutes, but wasn't really performing in those. And then was looking for a way out. Finally, did get one on a permanent move to Everton, who are kind of starting their rebuild, I'd say. They also got Donny van de Beek on loan, which is another midfielder who was kind of locked out by their club, looking for a move. I'm glad he got that. And then Frank Lampard as well got the manager spot, and after Rafa. So I don't know. What do you think of Frank taking over and then maybe Donny coming in as well? I like all three of those moves, especially for Everton fans.
I think that the two moves are definitely good, the two player moves. I think it's a tough one about Frank. I'm not quite sure how I feel about it yet. You know what I mean? He's definitely a good football mind, and he knows his way around a football team and tactics and whatnot. But I just don't know how well he's going to do coming right back into a job in the Premier League. I don't know. I have speculation about him returning very quickly. I mean, it's only been a year, and I think he might have been better off moving to a different league and developing some confidence with himself and also with, outsiders on his coaching style. He definitely lost a lot of confidence when he was that Chelsea manager. So, and not only in like inner confidence, but the people around him and the media and whatnot. So I do think that it's going to be interesting to see how the media portrays it and how he does, but I'm not completely sold that he's the right guy for the job.
Yeah, especially I think Everton sit, if I can look here, I think they're quite low now. I think yeah, they're 16th, only 4 points above relegation. So Frank does need to actually perform. He's not in that Chelsea situation, as you said, where he has the players to perform. He's really going to need to rely on his coaching and his tactics to pick up those points and get an Everton team that really shouldn't be down in the relegation zone back up to at least mid-table. So at least mid-table. So
But like you said, I think it's a good window for Everton. They've done well. The chat's been talking about how Dele and Donny are both attacking mids, but I do think that you can work your way around that. You can play an inverted triangle with a 6 and 2 10s or an 8 and 2 10s. And I don't think they'll have any trouble with that necessarily. Also, I don't think that there's any argument right now for both of them being necessary starters in that squad. I think they strengthen the team, but I think they're going to have to prove themselves because both of them have not been. Well, Donny hasn't had the opportunity, and Dele, as of late, has had a little bit of opportunity, but hasn't really shown what I would say is a starter, definitely on an Everton side that they are holding right now. You know what I mean?
yeah, I think Everton can afford to give Dele more time to prove himself, but with Donny, it is only a loan for the rest of the season, I believe. So he almost is guaranteed minutes, I'd say, at least at the start. And if he isn't performing, then he will probably drop to the bench. But I think he will probably start until Frank sees really what type of player he's going to be for that club.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Moving from the at least at the current moment cold and rainy weather of England down to the sunny vacation destination of Barcelona. Like that transition there?
Yeah, that was
that
really
was
nice.
class. That was quality.
We should do more of those.
We should. You know, they do them in the news a lot. They do them. They even do them. I was watching the post game on Paramount of the USMNT, and they were doing a lot of those. I was like, wow, this is like intense. There's like so many different transitions going on at the same time. But like I said, moving to Barcelona, they have done pretty well during this transfer window. They've signed 2 players that I think could possibly strengthen their squad, but also possibly just end up like Barca signings have over the past whatever 2-3 years. And those 2 players are Aubameyang and Adama Traore. Aubameyang on a free transfer and Adama Traore on a loan. And both of them, well, Adama Traore was wanted by Spurs and didn't end up going. Apparently, he was offered a 100K a week wage and instead took a pay cut to 15K a week to go to Barcelona, which is just absolute disrespect to Spurs. But
yeah, but like you have to respect it.
Is Barca any better? Let's be honest right now.
I in terms of the league, they're very similar positions, but then you think, do you want to be in North London or do you want to be in Barcelona? And
yeah, well, also Adama is from Spain, so he might.
Yeah, and he played. He was in La Masia, I believe.
Yeah, exactly. So there is some reason to go back. I don't think he really fits the Barca system though, and he would fit Antonio Conte's Spurs so well.
He is just not a Barca player.
There's like zero part about him that makes me think Barca
technical
player.
skill, but
at all, actually.
But Xavi made the decision, I'd say,
which is also really strange.
Yeah, so I think that's going to be probably the most interesting transfer to see how Aubameyang and Adama Traore do for Barcelona, because those are two players you're like, are they Barca players? Do they fit that, identity? But then also, Dembele is now moved out. Yeah. So
he's still there, and he is sitting about in the Barca roster. And
I don't think he'll play.
No, apparently they told him that he has the rest of the transfer window to find a new club, and he just didn't. So I don't really know what's gonna happen there. But it's January 31st, and it's 9:08 here, and it's February in Barcelona. So I'm pretty certain
it's kind of a weird one. Like, I've never heard a club just be like, you need to leave. Like, usually it's the player.
You need to go right now.
And I was following along. I think they're looking at PSG, his agent. They're in talks. Also, I think Chelsea maybe for a little bit, but obviously they're just going to wait it out until his contract runs up. And I believe at the end of the summer. So
yeah, and then I have zero idea where he's gonna go.
Like, I mean, he's just gonna get injured again. So I don't. It's really, it's a tough one. But I guess obviously weather I'd say is worse in Newcastle than it is in Barcelona. I think you would agree with that.
But, I would most definitely.
But that didn't deter Matt Target from Aston Villa and Bruno Guimaraes. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but from Lyon.
Guimaraes.
Nice, yeah. And most important of all, Dan Burn, which I think
we don't need to speak on Dan.
You'll have to give your Brighton opinion on that one. Those 3 came in today on deadline day. So Newcastle really spending probably what was Josh Sargent's percentage? Like 0.4%. 0.04% of their transfer budget on those 3 players. That's it.
Yes. Well, maybe even less.
Maybe,
Let's be
maybe
honest
less.
here.
Yeah.
Looking at the Dan Burn transfer, I really dislike this move. Especially when Lewis Dunk is not healthy, because
Oh, that's
um
true.
yeah, like who's gonna play in there? We've got Webdini, but like
Webdini can play both positions, I think.
who bid the other person?
You don't need one.
It's just Webdini in the back. We get Lamptey at center back.
Yeah. So what position is the new player you signed as well?
Moises Caicedo, he's a striker.
Ah. So I'm not sure if so you need to score goals and you sign a relatively unknown player again
Yeah.
at striker. So I mean, one we don't have on our list here is Weghorst for Burnley, which I think will
That's a
be
much better. If Brighton did
incredible.
that, I would be buzzing, but I'm not
Yeah.
buzzing. So Brighton obviously didn't do that
No.
or
I
anything
mean,
close to
Brighton,
it.
they just go for the experimental, and I mean, you're doing
Dude,
fine in the league.
well,
So
like you got to think, we brought in Basuma in 2018, and Basuma didn't work out until 2020. I think we actually brought him in
I mean, he
2017.
was decent.
Dude, he didn't start until 2020, 2019 late.
2019, I'd say.
Yeah.
Right?
So he was like
Yeah,
2 years without starting. I actually got a Basuma jersey before he ever stepped foot in
I
the
remember.
Amex. Before
I
he ever
remember
stepped
being
foot in
like
the
this.
Amex.
You liked him, and he was just not like a very good player at the time. But he
Dude,
was just like
he was
your,
like 52 rated in FIFA.
yeah. You're like, this is my guy,
I was like,
and
dude,
he became your best player.
yeah. It's the eye for talent. Because
Yeah,
I'm at training, you know.
yeah. Week in, week out, talking to the
Reporting.
players, getting to know them.
Basuma, how do you feel like you're doing in training? I see you've got some great skills, but you need to work your way into the squad, that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. But yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the whole Dan Burn exiting. Um, just I don't know why GP did that. Like zero idea.
Yeah, you are looking a bit thin on the roster, especially defensively. We'll have to keep an eye on that because you guys are usually very good defensively.
Usually,
But when
we
you
do have
lose a
Shane.
player,
We do have Shane.
I'm, I'm surprised Shane didn't go to Newcastle, to be
That
fair.
I would have been more. Actually, I don't know. I don't know. Well, Dan Burns like that I would have liked
So
to have in the squad.
is Shane Duffy your Shane Long?
What do you mean? Well, he's not a striker.
No, but like how like he shouldn't be playing, but he somehow like gets a
So
sub
like,
appearance sometimes.
nah, he's been starting recently just because of this. But here's what I'd say about Shane. Shane works really hard. Like he is really good at just trying really hard and like giving it a day in, day out.
So Shane Long.
And he's actually pretty good at defending because most of the defending is like working really hard. um, and he's got the size. Um, but when the ball is on his foot, it's almost never like close to his foot. Like he doesn't really have that ball control, which I think would be ideal for a Premier League center half these days. You know, he
Yeah.
he sometimes has trouble with like when he receives it from the right side of the field, turning and playing it to the left side of the field. So it's one of those things where it's a trade off. He's a squadsman, but he has a bit of a hard time moving the ball around, which is tough
That's
because
fair.
recently, or you know, Graham, he loaned him to Celtic because he knew
Yeah.
he couldn't really switch the field. Um,
Yeah.
but then we had these injuries, and so he's back,
Mhm.
and we're still playing the same style. So we're like, we're passing through Shane a lot, but Shane's not really responding at the right passes. So it's a tough one.
But you're getting through it. And
We
I
are.
mean, looking at what Eli was saying, I think going back to Denver and the other players they bought, that was a very perfect window. They have that Premier League experience while also having, um, you know, an experimental with the Brazilian midfielder. So I'm excited. I mean, are Newcastle staying up after the window you saw?
Um, um, if they don't stay up, it's like what happens to all of these players?
That's
Like these are
that is
not championship level players.
that's the $1 billion question.
That
They
that is
sit
the
18th.
literal $1 billion question.
They sit, yeah, like 4 billion or whatever. But yeah, they sit 18th, so 1 point away from safety.
Yeah,
It's
they
gonna
could.
be Norwich. It's gonna be Norwich or Newcastle.
You reckon the Hampton has a potential to maybe seek that fate?
Well, I mean, we're 10 points above
Yeah, but
relegation.
I'm looking at who's in between you lot and the bottom half. Hold up, I gotta discard the fake transfer of Josh Sargent into my fantasy team. Definitely don't want that happening.
Well, you
Um,
might now. He's on
well,
fire.
did you see the interview after the game when everyone was chanting?
Yeah,
Yeah, that was pretty sweet. All
that's
right,
great.
I've got it up. Brentford also Leeds. I mean, Everton and Newcastle, you just have to think with their signings, and they're going to possibly be able to stay up. So then you have Watford, Burnley, Norwich. I think Watford, Burnley, Norwich is a respectable bottom three right now.
Yeah, I mean, part of me, I don't know. I'm interested to see how Brentford get on in the second half of the season. I
Yeah,
think they started very well and
good old
they've kind
Ivan.
of fallen out. Ivan got in a bit of a tricky situation. Did you see that?
I did not,
Um,
but I can see where this is going.
well, over break he was filmed saying "F Brentford"
Oh,
on
what?
video, which he
I thought.
apologized for, but
Well,
it's not really what you want from your star striker to
I don't
say
really
that.
feel like that's what you want from any of your players.
No. Especially since he's not really helping out the team a lot in goals
No,
and
he's not
to say
providing.
that. So
Eli said
I don't
Ivan's
know.
in a pickle. I would agree.
I could see Brentford in a pickle as well, maybe. Just the whole deal there. But going back to actually great segue.
Let's hear
Christian
it. Let's hear
Eriksen
it. That was not a
signed with Brent.
segue.
Yeah, he
Oh, that
signed
was
with
a
Brent.
segue.
Yeah,
You should have
on
been
loan.
like, you should have
Yeah,
been like, speaking of Brentford
yeah.
and
We
their possible improvement in the second half of the season, they
well we
have
talked.
Christian
Yeah,
Eriksen now.
we'll
um,
we'll work on the transitions,
no,
but
we will. It's just like it's got to come naturally. You know what I mean? It's got to
right.
be like, there it is, and it just flows.
Mhm, mhm.
Um, but yeah, I don't know how I feel about Eriksen to Brentford. I worry for his safety. Like seriously.
Well, I think that's why he signed because he wants to work on his fitness. He said he wants to get back into the Denmark team for the World Cup,
Yeah,
which would
I
be
worry about that.
that would be incredible if he did that. But I
Yeah, I don't
agree
know if I
that
would consider that incredible. Like,
really,
well, yeah, like it's great, but like he, I just like, I hope that it doesn't happen again and that like he's
yeah,
able to, like, I just worry that him football will mean that for him and his family that it could possibly not end well. You know what I mean?
yeah. But I feel like if he is now signing with a club, he must have been cleared by some doctor saying like you're good enough to play now. I don't know if it's completely eliminated with the surgery he did, but
No, they are saying he's good enough to play. It's just superstition. You know what I mean?
no, I agree. I think there's always going to be that that worry with him for the rest of his career, however long it is. But I do think it will be a very, you know, inspiring story if he does make it to the Denmark team to
Totally.
go to the World Cup. I just think it's a small chance at the moment. Uh,
I've
what are you
just seen the
giggling about?
chat. I've just
I
seen the
did
chat.
as well. Yeah.
We do have to
I don't
cover it.
really.
We'll cover it
I
after
don't.
transfers.
Yeah.
We'll like just give a brief description after transfers. Um,
Um.
We'll move to Italy. We'll move to Italy for the last 3
We have to
transfers
move
in
to
the
Italy.
roundup. We do. Dusan Vlahovic has signed for Juventus. Obviously, incredibly good striker, goal scoring prowess. We've talked about him before. Great player, and he rejected bids from multiple Premier League clubs, including Arsenal. Sorry, Paul. And he has decided on Juventus, which I think is the right move. Going from Fiorentina to another Serie A club where he knows he can play well. It's a league he's familiar with. He's still very young, so he has time to adjust and to possibly make another transfer after that. But there's nothing wrong with going to Juve. I'm just excited to see how he plays.
I mean, he went the boring route, didn't he?
Well, he did the same thing
He
as Chiesa.
he really did. And it also reminds me of like a Dortmund to Bayern or a Leipzig to Bayern transfer where, you know, he could have gone to Arsenal and he could have really proven himself in the Premier team in the league that he was already in and went to Juventus. So I don't know.
Yeah, I'm looking at the
He'll still
chat
do
right
well.
now. I've just seen hashtag free MG, and I'm done. Do you see the chat?
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
Whatever. I'm welcome to the chat, but I don't think MG should be free. To be fair,
No,
um,
that's not a laughing matter, I don't think.
that's not allowed. um,
Thank you, Paul. Disgraceful.
Paul said disgrace. Well, Basuma is also he's not under investigation anymore. Just by the way,
No,
um,
he wouldn't be
but
able to play.
yeah, yeah. Um,
But Juventus brought in striker, and they also shipped out on loan Bentancur and Kulusevski to Tottenham, which I think are two very good signings for Tottenham, at least for the end of the season. Even though they're on loan, I don't know, they're two proven players at Juventus, and exciting for me at least because I like both those players, especially from the Juventus documentary. Did you finish that, by the way?
no, not yet. I haven't gone through any more episodes.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's been like 2 weeks.
I need to get on that. You know what I mean?
It's just a slow watch,
Oh, it
yeah.
is. It is. I need
Watch it
to
when you
soak it up.
want. Yeah.
But I would say for these last 2 transfers that we're going to cover, Bentancur is a good one, and Kulusevski's a terrible one. Kulusevski's a really good player for Juventus, and I think that he's made a poor move. He's going to be in more of the limelight. He's going to have more attention around him. But at the end of the day, is he really trying to play under Antonio Conte and under a Tottenham side that has been known to possibly, like I don't want to say ruin players' careers, but definitely not bring the best out of players. Instead of staying at a very highly known club right now where he's doing very well. I don't understand what the reasoning is.
Yeah. He's also a very young player, and I don't know. I don't really hate the move because it's only a loan. If it was a buy to Tottenham, that would be, I think, worse for his career than just staying at Juventus. Just because of Tottenham's track record of kind of bringing in a big signing and young player maybe not performing all the best. So that'll be interesting to keep an eye on. Should we move to predictions
I think we should.
to finish it out?
Well, I just think we should cover the uh, unfortunate turn of events that happened. This past week, or more yesterday and the day before, and how Mason Greenwood has been. He's been suspended from the Manchester United squad, and also
He is in
yeah,
custody
he,
at
he
the
is in
moment.
custody. And we're not going to go into detail about what happened, but if you want to, you can look that up. And he has made some really poor decisions, and he could be in some deep trouble. So, um, we hope that justice gets served there.
We
Um,
do.
and with that very deep moment, we move on to predictions.
We do.
So the 3 predictions that we are doing for this week are Argentina versus Colombia, Celtic versus Rangers, and Barcelona versus Atletico. The first one, Argentina versus Colombia. This is obviously an international game as we are in the international break. And in the standings of the CONMEBOL, I think, is that what they call their federation?
Yeah.
I think it's the
Mhm.
CONMEBOL standings. Argentina are currently second, and Colombia are sixth.
Yes. I'll go first with my prediction. And as you can see on the screen, I'm sitting at 2-4. That's my record.
It's a tough one.
But you're a respectable 3-3, which I think you started off hot last week. You got 2-1, and then you fell back. You went 1-2 a week later. So, with this pick, I mean, I think it's Argentina win is a safe bet, and I need to get back to.
You do need the points.
I need to get at least to a 500 record, and by doing that, you have to go safe. So I'm going with an Argentina win just based on form and standings.
Yes. Before I say mine, I would like to formally welcome Karuna to chat. They have just joined and have been putting some questions in, so thanks for entering. One of the most recent questions was Aston Villa, Newcastle, and Liverpool are the ones who have had a good transfer window, kind of as we have went over. The rest in the Prem didn't necessarily have the transfer window that they wanted. And Tottenham strengthened for the race in the top four. Completely agree with that. And then they asked a question, do Americans watch football? I mean, the real one. Obviously, we understand. And Americans do watch football. We're quite adamant about it. We have a podcast about it, if you haven't noticed.
We do. We have a whole media company about it.
We do. Go check out classicgrassmedia.com. Yes, look at that. But yes,
that's great. That's another great transition there.
Oh, it is. That's phenomenal.
On fire, yeah. Bill, what's your pick for Argentina, Colombia?
The pick for me is Chile. Right.
What? Are we doing the same predictions?
You see, I see it happening. I really do. And I'm up right now. I'm 3-3 in my predictions. I'm up right now. So I'm telling you, it's a Chile win. I'm going to get that.
Do you realize it's not Chile?
Oh, wait, it's not?
It's Colombia.
Oh, that.
You're so confident about it.
I don't know why I saw the badge and I was thinking Chile for a second. No, Colombia. I think it's going to be Colombia. That's what I have in my notes. But yes, I do reckon it's going to be Colombia. Now I understand why you were laughing so much.
I know. I was like, what?
But yeah, I definitely think Colombia, aka Chile, in my books, have an opportunity to win this game, and I'd like to improve my record to 4-3.
Really?
Yes.
Second game, it's called the Old Firm Derby, I believe. Celtic Rangers, a classic in the Scottish Premiership. Rangers have signed Aaron Ramsey today, by the way, and they also signed Amad Diallo from Man U on loan. They are first place by 2 points above Celtic in second. And I think, so I went first, so this is your turn to go first. What do you think about this matchup?
Well, Paul just put it in the chat, and I have it in my notes. Rangers did just sign Aaron Ramsey, which is somewhat of a big signing, I would say, for that club. And I would say with that boost of morale, in the squad, I think that they will take the cake on this game. I'm saying Rangers.
See, Celtic at home. I don't know. It's an interesting one. Do I go?
Are we going with imagine we have 3 different predictions.
So I don't think we will. I'm still going with the Rangers win. But I'm putting on record that I could.
You're putting it on record.
It could be a draw, but it's not going to be my pick.
But you're putting it on record, so that's on the record books.
On record, if they do draw, just know Mac was right, but he didn't pick a draw. He picked a Rangers win.
I'm putting that on record too.
Yeah, you think it's a draw?
Yeah.
Okay. So
no, I'm kidding.
No, it's sorted.
I'm going with Rangers win. Final decision. And moving to, I don't really know how to transition with this one. Moving to Barca versus Atletico. There's zero transition.
There's no connection really whatsoever.
Not. Moving to the third prediction. There we go. Barca Atletico. a big game, for the La Liga table and just in general with La Liga history. I think it's a very well-known game amongst many around the world, and it's a Diego Simeone versus Xavi. I think that's
It is.
a good thing to note. First time that'll be happening, and hopefully many more. Atletico are currently in 4th place, and Barca are in 5th currently. And I don't know. I would say an Atletico win is what I'm going to go with. Actually, no. I'm retracting.
But it's on record.
That was on record as retracted.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now Atletico Barca draw.
See, I thought we were going to be different, but we're the same again.
Nah. I went to a draw, so I went to a draw, so it wouldn't be the same as you.
See, I'll sacrifice my record on this one, and I'll go a Barca win.
Whoa.
I think it's gonna be Adama Traore sprint 80 yards, cross it into Alba.
Adama masterclass
with a winning goal from their two new signings. Ousmane Dembele on the bench. I got to be different. It's not very entertaining when we both have the same pick.
It's not right. It's just
But it's good. Right. It's good to have one of the same. So, as an overview, I believe I went with a Argentina win, a draw, Celtic Rangers, and a win for Barcelona.
That is correct. That is what you went with.
What did you go with?
I went with a Chile win.
Yes.
So I went with the Chile Colombia win. I went with a Rangers win. And I went with a draw, Barca Atletico. So
there it is.
That concludes predictions, and that pretty much concludes the podcast. We don't have anything else really to talk about. Although it was a fantastic week of football and the international breaks happening. We are going to the USMNT game on Wednesday, so we'll be able to fill you in on that next week. That should be hopefully a good game to watch. And I'm looking forward to it, although we're going to have to bundle up quite a bit here.
It will be a blizzard. Hopefully the U.S. do better against Honduras than against Canada.
Yeah,
you would think so.
Given the table, I would think that Canada's going to make the United States, have a bit of a trickier time, just given the table. I think Honduras are sitting second to last right now.
I think are they last?
They might be last. They might just be last. If we don't win that game, that's just so poor. I think if we win, though, we have a really good shot at qualifying. Knock on wood. But you know what I mean? I think if they manage to get the dub, I think our shot is really, really good right now.
We're already in a good position, and we just have to keep getting the results we are supposed to get and not have any trip ups.
Exactly. Like I said, that kind of concludes the podcast. Hopefully you guys liked this kind of modified version. We're going to keep hashing it out, make things better as we continue to do it. We'll be back in the studio, though, next week, unless, something changes with COVID or something like that. And for the foreseeable future, unless one of us is gone or traveling. But this will be the mode of podcasts in the future. So look forward to it and let us know if you have any suggestions.